Let's talk about the episode. Let's talk about the episode. So we got Xander. Xander is on the rampage. Xander is beating the hell out of people. Xander is doing the most, the absolute most. And the funny thing about it, while Xander was beating Philip down, Mr. Big Head decided to go ahead and confess and say, you know what? Since I'm getting beat up, since I'm getting punished, let me go ahead and throw Sarah under the bus. AKA meaning she knew this whole entire time and didn't tell you because she knew you couldn't control yourself. Sarah, I mean, you knew this day was coming eventually. You wanted to come clean and you didn't want to come clean. Maggie gave you the worst advice ever. You should have went ahead and came clean. Besides letting this build up, let his temper flare up the way it flared up, and you probably could maybe at least salvage your marriage. Maybe depending on how mad he was. But you let him flare up and you let him beat the hell out of Philip, and yeah, he couldn't take it no more. And like Xander said, I agree with him on some parts, not all parts. Philip should have stayed out of that whole hospital, diverse events situation. He should have stayed out of it, left it alone, shouldn't have been involved in it, shouldn't have got his nose nowhere in it. That man was slowly pushing you to the side to not deal with you or be bothered with you. You want to stick your big nose in and everything and want to find out what was going on, what they selling, what they get in the hospital for, why would they want to buy the hospital. You had to stick your nose in it, and like Xander said, you kind of did mess it up. Even though Steve and Sean love playing kinda probably would have worked if it wasn't for you interfering, having your friend from college interfering and beating them to the punch. They may or may not could have came out of that successful. But unfortunately for you, it flew up in the wind. That stuff was out there in the elements. Then getting sold on the black market, being sold on the black market, and you know what? I don't agree with Zelda most of the time, maybe 50% of the time, but you had that behind whooping coming. You really did. Like that man, they want you involved in none of Titan business. Yes, you are the co-CEO, but the best thing you could have did for yourself is sat your behind down somewhere, left that situation alone, let Xander cool off. He may or may not could have, let you get in the fold later, or maybe could have handed you some assignments or whatever. Y'all could have worked on it, maybe rebuild your brotherhood or whatever. But you decided to interfere in stuff that wasn't involving you, knowing darn well that man was mad and upset at you, and you know he got a temper from hell. I don't know why would you want to interfere in this, get caught up, get beat up, almost dead, and then on top of it, I don't know why you decided to throw Sarah under the bus. As much as I wanted that secret to come out, you throwing Sarah in there and putting salt in the wounds. I guess you getting beat up. Why not go ahead and tell? I don't know your reasoning for telling all this time. I mean, everything worked out. You got what you wanted for a minute. You said you weren't gonna tell on the girl, but you ended up snitching on her anyways, which pissed the boy off 10 times more. Then on top of it, Sarah, you kind of saw that hole, tried to avoid it, but you still fell in it. You questioning Xander and asking him did he beat up Philip. That was kind of your final blow right there. I mean, you could not sit on your high horse not knowing what you married to, knowing how he is and know how he go to assassin slash, fit speaker problems type of situation. Xander gonna always have that live there in his back burner, ready to cook it back up and start the flames back up again. That's just who he is. Xander is not gonna change. Xander, you can have 3 million babies with Xander. Xander is never gonna change. Xander always gonna be that hitman and that assassin. I got a problem here, Xander. You take care of a type of situation. I don't know why you thought marrying him and having a baby with him was gonna surprise him and change him. He lasted a good while, I will give him that. Well, almost a good while. Let's not forget what he tried to do to Brady when he thought Brady ran over his mom, ran over Sarah, and then it came out that it was his own mother. Notice how she got away scot-free. No, she didn't. She went to prison. But anywho, though, Sarah, you knew what you were. Look, I agree with both of y'all on certain aspects of the situation. Sarah, you knew what you was getting into when you married Xander. Sarah, you knew exactly who Xander was. You knew Xander wasn't never gonna change. And you can go get that man all the help he needed in the world. Maybe he might change. Xander is Xander, and there's no change in Xander. Xander been like that his whole entire life. You think cause you had a baby and you married him that was gonna calm him down? Nope. You still got a hot head and he still got a short temper. So that didn't change nothing. You keeping this secret from him. You should have went ahead and told him, in my opinion. You should have went ahead and told the man the truth. You should have went ahead and took care of the situation. Why sit there and set up everybody? Fill up Sarah. Fill up Stephanie. You know, Alice. All of them. Why involve everybody in this mess? Your mother. Why involve all of them in this mess? When all you had to do is come clean from the jump. You thought that having Philip there to be a buffer might be the cool side of Xander, which Xander do not have a cool side, and you know what you married in the first place. I don't know why you thought that, if I have Philip here, you know, when Xander go to do some hot-head things, that'll calm him down and you could be here smooth to his anger. Yeah, that worked out very successful for you. And I did what I thought was best because I didn't know that she was gonna do this. And my instincts was right. Look what you did, Sarah. This falls under the category of you knew what you married. You knew he always had that temper. You knew he always gonna have that part of his dark life always gonna be there, ready to turn on the stove and light up any second, any minute, every minute, any hour. You knew this, but yet you decided, I want to marry Xander. I want to have a baby with him. Don't regret those situations now. Like I said, you knew what you was getting yourself to. And yes, I agree with you. Xander is hothead. Xander do have a temper. Yes, you should have had somebody there as a buffer to him, but not Philip. We already know Philip is selfish. He don't care about nobody but himself and his big head. And we know Philip was the wrong person to have there in the first place. That's why I was telling your behind to come clean now before it come back and bite you in your behind. And now look at you. You don't know if you got a marriage or not. You don't even much know if you're going to be fighting for custody or not. And if I was you, I'll go ahead and try to make amends somehow, some way or another, for y'all can deal with, 50-50 custody, or Victoria here this week, or she here for this X amount of days, and you have this. I'd rather do that than to go through a battle with a Kyriakis. Even though you could end up winning, judging by his temper and his, the way he act, you could win, but are you willing to take that risk going against the Kyriakis with money? So if I was you, you already said the marriage is over. Y'all both said that. If I was you, this is not your time to take feelings out of it, and y'all worry about that little girl, and somehow find a easy medium for y'all can get along for custody's sake. Cause this whole custody battle and that, Sarah, you don't want none of that. You're gonna be putting your mama in the worst way possible, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to do that. the poor old man kid. So the best thing you can do for yourself now, since it's over and Xander said he only got one love in his life and that's his daughter, the best thing you can do for yourself now is try to come to an easy medium. You and Xander, y'all both calm down, separate corners, talk about it, and try to, do custody. That's about the best thing y'all can do at this point. Sarah, we already know she gonna try to take it to a custody battle. I don't know why she would want to do that, but I got a feeling Sarah finna give Xander a hard time. But this falls under the category of Sarah, don't nobody feel sorry for you. I don't, at least, because you knew who he was. You decided that to hook your life to somebody like that. You know what he did. You know he ain't got no sympathy for nobody. And you know any amount of money come up to get rid of this certain person, he would do it in a heartbeat. Kiriakis, Titan Industry and all, he'll throw that all on the line just to get that money. You see what he did to Philip to get his way. Cause Philip kind of jacked up that plan. Well, not really jacked up the plan, but screwed it up a little bit. I don't think it's completely gone yet, but we'll find out how far, and we will get to the Bowen John part right now. John comes back to town. We don't know if it's him. We hear a voice or whatnot. He got on a hoodie and what is that he had on? Look like something for Star Wars. He goes to try to go on this rescue mission to save Bo with this Versavitz medicine. They needed his help. He came a runner besides going home to his family that ain't seen him in God knows long. He decided to go help Bo, which I can kind of understand. At first I was like, now you got your wife and your kids waiting at you at home, waiting for you to come home for they can celebrate, be happy to have you home. You decide to go save Bo. I thought about that and I said, you know what? They all friends, they all relatives, so I can kind of understand why he'll put the family on the back burner for that. Hell, he do it for the ISA, his first wife, any time of the day they call, he run. And so I said, yeah, let me think about that for a second. John and Bo and John, they've been friends and relatives, and they've been tight ever since the beginning. Ever since they known each other. So yeah, I can see kind of John running to that situation to help out Bo, and it turned a little shaky, turned out a little fighting. Unfortunately, the man ended up in the morgue. The medicine that they thought was gone was not gone. John ended up saving him by being a coat or a buffer for the medicine. He ended up getting burned, but he ended up getting a dose of the medicine to help save Bo, because it's getting dire for Bo. We see Hope and Sierra up there in the hospital talking to him. We got him like he having an out-of-body experience right now, going to the Brady pub, going to the Horton Town Square, seeing Steve and Kayla up there eating chowder and trying to talk to them, but he can't really communicate with them because he having an out-of-body experience right now. So Sierra was talking to him, the machine started beeping, they gave him something for his blood pressure. Hope and Sierra telling him to hang on, we almost there, don't leave us just yet. John ended up getting burnt, but he saved the medicine and gave Steve the dose that can save Bo. Unfortunately for John, he got 30-degree, 50-degree burns all over his body, and he got smoke inhalation and smoke in his lungs and whatever else Kayla said. But he did tell Marlene he loved him. He loved her. So that was the nice part of that whole scene. Even though John shouldn't, well, I ain't gonna say he should have went home to his family. He did what he had to do, and now I understand it. Now looking back at it, and at first I said, now why the hell would he go to that when he should be going home to his family, his wife? But then I thought about it, said, yeah, they've been tight for years. I probably would have done the same thing if I had a friend like that on the line, and some medicine may or may not can save him. Why not go and try to save him? So at first, yeah, I kind of said, now why the hell would he go there? But then, not thinking about it and looking about it, and they gave me past history, I probably would have done the same too, because they all been friends for so long, like brothers. So I kind of see where he coming from and why he did all that. Is Chad and that girl gonna end up being together? They going skydiving. Stephanie basically warned her about Abigail, and he may or may not be over Abigail. That was with you, Stephanie, while you trying to scare that girl. Look, when you and Chad started dating, that was what, a couple of months, a year or so when Stephanie and Chad started dating. He may or may not be over Abigail at this point in his life, and while you warning her to watch out, he might not be ready because he's still in love with he still might be in love with Abigail, and he may or may not move on. It's none of your business, Sarah. You just being messy. Worry about your book that Alice about to sell to Kate, where you change your mind. I don't know if he gonna catch it in time to catch that book to stop it, but yeah, you should be worrying about your book that your boyfriend trying to put up to the market for he can, make you I don't know what the hell he trying to make you, but yeah, you should be worrying about that, not worrying about Chad talking about some you protective over the kids, and Chad may or may not be ready to start dating. I think it been long enough that he may or may not be ready by now. If he should, if he want to. That was you and him dating. That was so long ago, and that was it wasn't much a year anniversary yet, was it, when they started dating for Abigail? For you to bring that up, you were just being messy. And was kind of foolish trying to warn that girl, even though she don't want to go there with Chad. If you can tell, they want to go there, but they scared to go there. It's just a whole mess there, really. That's how all that happened. Hopefully this medicine worked for Bo, and hopefully John is okay, and get himself that together now that he finally home, and he got a little burned and a little smoke inhalation. He didn't have worse happen to him, and he survived it. I'm pretty sure he should be fine too. But anyways though, y'all, that was the episode. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all later. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch y'all later. Bye.